The Desert Tiger Podcast.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly, ANNIKA. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, and how are you on this lovely day?
So far, so good, but it's only 9 a.m. here, so I guess we'll see where the day takes us. But so far, so good.
Still lots of day left, I guess, eh?
Yes.
All
But
right.
it's Friday, so I mean, I'm always happy on a Friday. Who isn't?
Usually that means good things are coming. Good vibes, good energy, good times. I'm all about
That's
it.
right. I love it.
Awesome. Hopefully it brings a good interview here today as well as we dive behind a little bit of this solo journey.
Yes, love that.
Awesome. Are you ready to jump on into things?
I'm ready to go when you are.
All right, so let's dive on in feet first. So, of course, we're going to be talking a little bit about some new singles that come our way, but I'd love to lead a little bit of a foundation for the listener first, because, of course, some of the audience may know you from your time in Leaving Thomas. But Leaving Thomas, the group, announced that you two were going to be going separate ways at the end of 2019. So, from there, where was the decision to sort of go the solo route?
Yeah, so Brighton and I, my partner in Leaving Thomas, we have known each other for like literally almost 20 years. Good friends, loved working together, but Brighton also had a passion for a business that he was starting on the side. And basically, he decided at the end of 2019 that he wanted to fully pursue that business, and he had a real passion for it. And his heart just wasn't in the duo anymore. And obviously, I was bummed because I loved working with him and we had so much fun creating music together. But as his friend, of course, I supported him and still support him on his new journey. And we are still friends. We still reminisce about our times together. And it was lucky that we got to do a big farewell concert before COVID hit. And then I spent the year deciding what I was going to do. You know, was I going to do something solo? Was I not going to? And I ended up writing so much that I thought, well, I have to release this. I've written like 30 songs and 30, like I had 15 songs that I wanted to record. So I was like, you know, I have to do something.
Eventually got to a point where I was like, all right, we got to stop spinning the wheels here and we got to go somewhere.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. So when exactly did you begin to get into the studio to begin to build this new era, this new version, ANNIKA?
Yes. So we went into the studio in August of 2020. And it was really nice because we had so many months of not being able to perform live or do anything. So to get back in the studio again, being with musicians was just amazing. And so we spent a full week at the studio. I kind of love recording where kind of the old school way, where you really just hunker down and do not one song at a time, but you really do an album. And so we recorded, I want to say 10 songs in a week. And it was just, it was so amazing to be back in the studio. And luckily, my producer is also my husband. So I made sure he came prepared. He was ready to go. And we work really well together. So it was really awesome to see the vision come to life.
Yes, for sure. And I also see that your husband happens to be a co-writer as well. So that probably helped out quite a bit, being able to be inside of the same house. I mean, some people have done songwriting on Zoom, but I mean, to be quarantining with your songwriting companion probably helped out a bit as well.
Yeah, for sure. It was really good to stay motivated because you have someone living in your house with you that's like, let's write, let's do pre-programming, let's get things going. He's been a huge encourager to me. And certainly you're writing often about your own experience. So when we both are living a very, a life together, it brings on some inspiration for sure.
Absolutely, for sure. Because you guys can sort of see the different perspectives of the relationship, how it came together, and then as how both of you grow, how you see each other, how you grow in each other's light, how you continue to love and otherwise as time goes on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very cool part of our relationship. I never thought I'd marry someone that was in the industry, and I did. And so far it's working out very well. So I'm happy about that.
Well, it's good. It's good. It can be very tough to find somebody who understands the industry, and sometimes they say, oh, well, the easiest is to find someone inside, but sometimes the schedules don't line
sometimes
up.
Like if I was married to another artist, I feel like that would be a disaster. I think the fact that he's on the other side of things as a producer and a drummer and a writer, that is great. I don't think I can be married to another version of me. That might be too much.
Too much creative energy. Come on.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you got in the studio back in August. It took a little bit of time in between because the first Twingles released in May here of 2021. So is that sort of just making sure that you had everything ready, that the business plan was ready to go, or was it just sort of dealing with this last year where we weren't able to know what the future was going to bring?
Yeah, I think planning anything in the last year has been very difficult for at least me and my team. But a few things. One thing was I was pregnant. So I had a baby in July. So in May, I was, 7.5 months where I was like still able to do some proper promotion, but also didn't have a newborn at home. So we released in May partly because I thought by then COVID would be done. It wasn't. And so we thought, should we push it back? Should we not? And eventually we just said, we have to release music. You know what? This is a time in the world where maybe we need to be getting music out there. And it's not important whether or not we can see people in person. We just need to get some new music out there for people to listen to. So May was a great time in that I was able to still properly promote it through the channels that we could use during COVID. And I felt the two songs were a great introduction for me back into the Canadian country industry because, like you said, some people might know me from Leaving Thomas. For lots of people, they've never heard of me. And so those two songs I felt really represented me and the new sound. And May was when it all came together.
It's pretty crazy how you mentioned that, where it's like, oh, some people may know you, where like you have had hit songs on the radio. You're a hit songwriter on other musicians' songs. And it's just to say, where it's like that fear as an artist or that judgment where it's like, oh, but I just don't know. But of course, everything ends up going well. I don't really want to. Ends up going to radio, makes top 20.
I know.
Like, incredible.
Yeah. I was not expecting the radio success we had with I Really Don't Want To. And honestly, that is why my advice to anyone or what I've learned is truly to just release something that you are passionate about and that you feel happy with yourself, because good things seem to follow. At least that's how it's going for me. So instead of chasing radio or chasing what you think fans will like, I think people just appreciate an authentic song that's well done. So that's what we decided to do.
Awesome. All right. And I'm glad that the reception of that track goes well. And of course, a little bit of time in between the first set of Twingles and the second set of Twingles, which I can only imagine was to, as you mentioned earlier, have a baby.
Yeah. Literally, I remember the day I gave birth, I was in labor and Spencer, my husband, found out that the song I Really Don't Want To hit top 40 that day. And I was like, well, that's pretty awesome. I'm, going top 40 and having a baby in the same day. Like, yes, that was I was going to say it was a career highlight and a personal highlight day for me. But yeah, we basically decided to release this next set of two songs here in September to allow for some time to be a mother and kind of find my bearings there. And due to the success of the other song, we were able to enjoy that ride a bit longer than we had anticipated. So that was great.
Well, it's very nice to be able to have that for sure, where, oh, okay, this is doing well. Well, there's no rush then. There's no rush yet.
Exactly. So that's what we did.
Awesome. All right. And of course, on September 17th, we got our second set of Twingles. So before I dive into the songs themselves, why the Twingle idea? Is this also the old school vibe of the A side, B side?
Yes, I loved A sides and B sides when I was growing up. And, like I think that as a consumer of music, I would always hate it when I would hear a song by an artist that I loved. And then I'd go to their Spotify profile and there's only that one song. And I would just crave, I know it's not really realistic in these days to do a full 15 song album and expect it to get, listens on every song. So I thought, well, why don't we do like an A side, B side? Because I don't want to spend 1 year promoting one song and it was just too boring for me, honestly. And I had too much to say as a musician and as a creator that I said, let's go two at once. And maybe instead of waiting a year in between, let's, release music every few months so that if people are liking the music, there's more for them to listen to. So we kind of had each time we have a focus track and then kind of a fun bonus track that goes with it. So that's where we came up with the idea for the Twingle.
Ooh, awesome. And also kind of extends things once again and also gives a little bit of a soundtrack that the listener can get used to for once maybe the live stage maybe hopefully return.
Oh my goodness, I know exactly. I was saying that the one good thing about not being able to perform live right now is when I do get to do a show, hopefully by then I'll have, lots of songs out. So the more songs people can sing along to because they'll actually know them instead of going to a show and only knowing one song.
All right. All right. Well, let's dive into these latest tracks here. Let's dive into the focus, the side A here. And of course, that is Encore, which happens to feature the incredible Brett Kissel as well. So take us a little bit behind Encore, what it means to you, and how did Brett become attached to this project?
Yeah, this song was written years ago. It was originally not meant for me. We had written it for like a male artist. I always thought it was a song that could be sung by a male. And this often happens. We'll write a song and then I'll fall in love with it myself. So I was saying, oh my goodness, I actually really love this song. But I thought it'd be so great as a duet. And I've known Brett for many years, like being both Albertan artists. I've seen him. He's had Leaving Thomas, on stage a few times with him. I've seen him in passing. And then my husband is also the drummer for the Brett Kissel band. So I've gotten to know him as a colleague and friend, but we've never done anything together as artists. And so when it came time to picking a duet partner, I thought, maybe I should ask Brett, but there's no way he'll say yes. I just didn't even think it was in the realm of possibility because he's so busy with so many things. But, I said, why not? Let's swing for the fences. What's the worst that can happen? He says no. Like, I think he would still be honored because he's always been very affirming and encouraging to me as kind of a mentor. So I knew he'd be flattered, if anything. So I wrote to him and I asked him and he responded within 10 minutes with an enthusiastic, yes, I'd love to be part of this. So that was shocking to me. And, it's always in this industry, you got to wait until it actually happens to really believe it. So for me to finally see that the song is out, it's to the ears of listeners and both of our voices are on it is still crazy to me. So we had an absolute blast in the studio. I mean, he's so talented. I think the song is a departure from his normal style of music. And it was an awesome chance for him to kind of show a softer, more kind of intimate side to his voice. And that's what the song was supposed to be. It was supposed to be this very romantic, but very simple, just powerful song. And so we didn't get too crazy with production or lots of instruments. And we just kind of tried to let our voices shine and be the storytellers. So I think it's a pretty cool combo, and it was fun to surprise fans and people with that combination.
I'd say it was a definitely good combo as well. The story being told is incredible, and the song's been out for a week. So what has that fan reception sort of been like so far?
Well, it's really funny. Like my favorite thing is when people from my high school or something, people that I don't talk to in a long time, follow Brett Kissel and saw my name, on a song with him. And I was like, what? This is so cool. So that's been great. And then I love that. I think the most common response I've gotten from fans has been goosebumps. People just say goosebumps, chills. I've got the goosebumps. And I'm like, there's nothing better than for me as a listener, when you're listening to a song and you get goosebumps, that's like the highest compliment. So I'm thrilled with the response so far. And Brett and I have said we just cannot wait until we can sing it live. I think that will be a very powerful song. So hopefully that happens soon.
Ooh, I think it'll be a very powerful experience for those in the audience, and hopefully I myself can make my way inside of one of those audiences as well. So let's dive into the B side of this side here with Love Looks Like You. Definitely a little bit of a different energy, where Encore's maybe let's give this another try, where Love Looks Like You definitely maybe a little more of, you know exactly what the vision of love is.
Yes. Yeah, this song was inspired basically by my own love story. It took me a long time to find, or lots of experiences and lots of different roads finally led me to my husband now. And we wrote this song with the intention of that, that lifetime love feeling. I wanted it to feel like a classic, timeless song, which I think it does, in that it's very applicable to a couple that's newlywed and also a couple that's been married for 50 years. And that's really where we ended up with the strings on it, gives it that timeless feel. It's actually funny. I'm singing it at my sister's wedding it's in 2 weeks from now. And so that will be really special. The debut performance of it will actually be at my sister's wedding. So that's kind of the inspiration for it, is just that classic love story. And hopefully my husband and I will be dancing to it at our 50th anniversary someday. That would be wonderful.
Hopefully your sister dances to it at some point during her marriage. You get to celebrate to it later. It's kind of beautiful how music works like that, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, hopefully the wedding goes well too, and hopefully that first performance back to the live stage as well.
Let's hope so.
Fingers crossed for sure. So you've mentioned that you're potentially working on a full album. So without giving away too much of the future, what can you tell us?
So this album is going to be a side A, a side B, and it'll be released on vinyl eventually. And it's called Stand Still. And the title track has not come out yet, but it's really an album that is reflective of the last 3 years of my life. That's what I love about music, is that it's like this time capsule that, we have an opportunity to use music to capture our feelings, our emotions, our experiences, and then freeze them in time in a creative way, which I just think is so awesome. So I think with this project, we've decided to release those songs instead of writing and recording and only releasing 1 or 2 every year. I really want this to be a body of work that reflects the changes that I've gone through in the last 3 years, which have been significant. I've lost people in my life. I got married. I had a baby, like just so many life changes. And to me, that's when the best songs come, is when you're writing about your own life. So the album will be reflective of that.
Fantastic. Very excited to hear that. And I cannot wait to hear the album itself. And I love how you mentioned that. The name there, very poetic indeed.
Well, especially because for me, I'm someone if you've ever seen me on stage, I'm running around. I'm very energetic. I'm very lively. And this album, a lot of the songs are about just standing still and being still in the moment and appreciating what's happening instead of just kind of always looking for the next thing. So it's a bit different. When people think of me, they don't think standing still. So that's why they got to listen to the album.
I changed it up with the solo music career, changing it up in terms of the music as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, I have one last question. I've had a blast chatting so far. Are you ready for the last question?
I'm ready.
All right. So you mentioned the changes that you've gone through in the last 3 years, and normally my last question is sort of based off of that. So in these last 3 years, with all of these changes inside of your life, How would you say it has helped you grow, or what has it taught you about yourself?
That is a great question. Well, I'll try to make it so that we're not here for an hour and a half because I could go on and on about, life changes and, how your philosophy on life changes after you have a child and things like that. But I think the main thing that the last few years have taught me is that for me, music is part of my life pie in that I have all these other things that make me so happy, that make me fulfilled, and also make my music better. And so I think I spent a lot of my 20s very focused on music, very focused on career, and feeling like if I don't make this happen, I have to give up. What I realized after turning 30, big milestone year for me, turned 30, that what makes my music better is that I'm also a mom and that I'm also a wife and that I'm also a friend, a daughter. I have all these other relationships and that I enjoy traveling and enjoy doing all these other things. And when I allow for those activities and relationships to be present in my life, my music is only better and I enjoy doing the music part more. So I think this was a year, my word of the year is balance. It's finding balance among all these things, cutting out things that don't serve me or that I can't bring something to, and finding that magical balance where everything's copacetic.
Wow, I love that. A very important lesson for sure. We get caught up in that hustle industry, that hustle lifestyle, and sometimes we forget that there's other aspects of our life. And I love how you mention how by going and refocusing on those other aspects, it actually brought back.
For sure. And I think that's what the silver lining of the pandemic has been for me personally, is it forced me to just be still and look at all the things I have and make time for the things that matter. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing this lesson as well as the story of this solo career up until this point with us here today, ANNIKA.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. I really enjoyed chatting with you.